feedlots. We're standing at a feedlot now. We're at Briggs Feed Yard, just near Seward, Nebraska. Mike Briggs is joining us as we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we got all kinds of topics today.
Lots of news impacted the cattle markets, but let's just size up live and feeder cattle as you see it.
Well, the last time we talked, I was cautiously optimistic, and the reason I say cautiously, this market, or the CBOT, the board has been kind of out of step all along. We started our rally way too early this year, then we kind of crashed in what would typically be a good time, and now we have all kinds of outside influences. We got two wars going on, and now they're testing for bird flu in hamburger and trying to see if they can find it, and then they're even going so far as they're injecting it into hamburger, seeing how hot you got to get the meat to kill it. So, but it's one of these deals, if you're testing for it, eventually you'll find it. And I just hope that doesn't just completely wreck our market and scare our consumer. You'll be able to kill the virus with some amount of heat, so I'm really not worried about it. But it's like, gosh, are you just trying to tip this thing over with all the stuff that's going on? It's really frustrating to me as a producer.
All right, I want to get more on your thoughts coming up here in a second. You said the futures market is kind of out of step here. Is the cash side of things, is that more in step with how you see things?
Yeah, but cash needs to lead this. If this market's any good, cash has got to lead, not the board. It's never good when the board leads. That gets us in all kinds of trouble. If you're a hedger right now, you're running around with a big grin on your face because we're probably going to trade a 9, 10, maybe even an 11 or $12 basis this week. Depends on how we do, but this is a great time of year for a hedger. I think cash is going to remain strong. I would like to think if the outside influences don't bite us in the behind, I would think we're going to keep going up right into Memorial Day, which is our best beef holiday, and maybe a few weeks after that.
To that point, feedlot full at this point?
Feedlot's pretty full. I was kind of loaded up for April, May, June, so I'm pretty full, but they're going to start going out, and it'll be interesting to see if anything comes back in.
All right, you brought up highly pathogenic avian influenza. It's been confirmed in several dairy herds, I think 9 different states at this point. Obviously some questions about how long has this truly been around. They're just detecting it at this point. I've not heard any news of it being confirmed in beef, but nope. Dairy cattle, as if when they're cold, do end up in the beef supply chain.
Yes.
How big of a concern is this to you?
It's a concern if it is an actual true human health issue. If it's in the meat and you cook it just like you got to cook it for E. coli, no change, no big deal, who cares? I know that everybody's really concerned that avian flu is eventually going to flip into the human population. That's all above my pay grade, but I just really don't think it's going to bother out here. It shouldn't bother us, so hopefully it won't.
You have to imagine on the consumer side, as we do go into the big grilling holiday, as
yes.
We often talk about, consumer perception, though, is going to be a concern.
Always is, because what is perceived is true. So hopefully it can become a non-issue, and our wonderful media people actually portray it as a non-issue, but everybody likes to be salacious, so who knows?
Yeah. All right, news this past week, there was a finalization of rules when it comes to traceability. There was rules already in place when it comes to interstate travel of certain cattle. I believe about 11% impacted by this, but the switch was going to electronic identification. You and I have talked a bit about that in the past. Let's remind our viewers, though, where you stand on it.
I've always been a proponent of identification because if we have an animal health issue, and we don't have any traceability, we can't find it, we can't stop it, we can't squash it. That's the thing I'm worried about. Somebody has an outbreak of something that we find down the line, God forbid in the meat supply, and try to trace that back, it's virtually impossible. And so that's why I like it. A lot of the guys, especially the ranchers, are like, oh, the government's just trying to see how many cows I have. I don't care. But I think we need, as an industry, I think it's really important that we have traceability because it will allow us to improve our product over time just by data itself. But also, like I said, in case there's an animal health issue, we can squash it. And that's really important.
All right, back getting to the cattle market side of this, what seasonal trends are you watching at this point? What should we be aware of?
Well, as you pointed out, it's grilling season. So the wind needs to quit blowing 400 miles an hour a day. But hopefully people start dragging their grills out. But you know, this economy's tough. Consumers are just getting quashed at every angle. Doesn't matter if it's gasoline, food. Food is horrible. Even our grocery bill is horrible. And you just kind of wonder how people are making it by. So to go out there and pay the prices that are in the retail store right now is really concerning to me. The retailer has a very large margin that he acquired in the COVID years. Doesn't want to give it up. Now the good thing for him then is he's got a lot of margin to have sales, and hopefully he'll bring these prices down and get some demand going, and we can get this cash market going again.
Are you more bullish or bearish then on the cattle markets right now?
Still cautiously optimistic. There's so many outside forces that we have no control over. That always makes me concerned. But typically this is the time of year and the fundamentals are in our favor. It should be great.